Appreciate
And I
it.
want to say also it's a pleasure to have you here, your first female guest ever, right? I'll try to remember next
Record.
year. I'll send you a card on the 1st of March, for no reason, right? It's our pleasure to have you.
For
And
sure.
especially for someone that Andre describes as the female R9, right? Because
Gosh.
this man doesn't give compliments easy at all,
No pressure, right? Oh my
right?
God.
He doesn't do that. So I really was looking forward to this.
Right.
What did you say?
Yeah.
Tonight's guest is Shadeeka Mendez, who was the R9 in the women's soccer team in my university.
Hey, man, I missed that boy.
You missed big time, big time. I'm telling you, big time.
He came in after.
Yeah.
Huh?
I came in 07.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Big player. And just overall, just a football addict like us.
Nice.
The purpose of the podcast, of course, is to amplify the voices of, the Caribbean diaspora and players and former players and people still in the football and all this stuff. So just looking forward to talking with Shadeeka a little bit here about how she got into the game, her love for the game, and where she is at now with the game and stuff like that. So with that, as usual, though, I'll let all women ask questions first and thing.
I like to ask the
Yeah, you're always running first.
the
So.
Potter questions. Good night, Miss Mendez. Nice to meet you.
How are you?
I'm alright, thanks. So like to start off with how did you get into the game? Like who introduced you to the game?
Sure. First of all, let me just say it is an honor to be here. I like the effort. Are you all
Appreciate
of it?
that.
Right? All right.
Yeah,
So
for
who
sure.
introduced me, right?
Yeah.
All right. So I would just like to say that it had to be divinely ordained, right? By God.
Mm-hmm. Let me hear this testimony, sister.
My father actually,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Which I think is what for most people.
Yeah.
On his side of the family, him, his brothers, and everybody, they all played football, right?
Mhm.
And he didn't have any boy children, 2 girls, right? And so he would, just to keep us entertained and whatnot, when we used to live in Sawa, he would kick around the ball with us in the yard or whatnot, and then, we moved to Digger Martin. And it just kind of took off from there. Like there was an empty lot next to our house. We would go over there, we would play with the kids in the neighborhood, and then, well, he is truly like a football addict himself. That's where we get it from, or where I get it from.
Nice.
He actually became our coach in St. Francois as well.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, Francois Gill, okay.
Yeah, so from then on, he kept on supporting us, and we got drafted to the national team. And so he just kept there. And so it's really him, from his DNA, his blood, his enthusiasm, all the way up to, I would say, even now.
Wow.
Mhm.
That's great. That's great. So how would you describe yourself? We already got Andre's glowing
Nah, just don't worry
description.
about my description.
How would you describe yourself as a young player? What were your best attributes? How did you develop early on?
Naturally,
Yeah.
I realized that I had a knack for like skills on the ball, and what we would say touches in Trinidad, the dribbling and whatnot.
Yeah.
So just naturally, I would dribble with the ball. That just came naturally to me, moving with the ball, going through players and whatnot. And as I continued to play, that just continued to grow in me. Right? I didn't even know that my first boot was the actual, or maybe it was the imitation R9. I didn't even know that. I think literally, it had to be divinely ordained. You know what I mean? I was like, wait,
Yeah.
And so yeah, dribbling is just a natural.
That's one of my favorite parts of the game. Players who could create space. You understand? In basketball, it have system players and non-system players. I prefer the guys who might not do what the coaches tell you, but might take initiative and beat a man. Share thing, right? When you were growing up, this not for sharing thing, was it frowned upon in any way, or was it did they encourage you to develop it?
Yeah, it was never frowned upon because Trinidadian culture. We like that, So that was just that is us. Yeah?
Yeah, for sure.
So it just nothing, no one ever tried to stop me from that,
So that's even coaches and thing didn't try to change how you were playing and stuff like that?
Ironically enough, there's only one person that tried to give me a hard time. It was after state, and her name is Shadeeka Mendez.
Oh,
can you believe, right? No one's sister, right?
Okay.
When we were in Atlanta, this is after state and whatnot, and we were just sweating with the guys and stuff. Even more so, I started to hold on to the ball more because I wanted to do more with the ball going through and that type of thing. And she used to get a little bit annoyed, like, oh, pass off the ball. I'm like, what happened to you? Let me do what I like to do.
All right. So, while this interview is about you, tell us a little bit about your sister since you brought her up. Is she older? Is she younger? What type of player is she? Was she?
Right? Is she? Actually, she doesn't play football these days. But well, my sister, she is what I will call like a hard-working player in the midfield, because naturally what came for her was the midfield and wing position.
Right. So she had a lot of pace, stamina.
Okay, so if you only know, if you all heard about Lady Lassity from the national team or Keela Mullen, whatever.
I know about Keela Mullen, right?
Yeah.
Right. Back in the day, it was she and my sister used to race to see who's the fastest.
Right. Okay.
Right. So yeah, Asha, she has a lot of speed. She works hard. She doesn't have like a lot of the silky skills touches or whatnot, but she has what will take her through the midfield.
Yeah.
And
Right.
And because she is so dedicated and focused, or was dedicated and focused, I literally remember a time when we were in state. And strikers would interchange with midfielders if she has to make a forward run to go to the goal, right? I literally remember after the ball was passed to her, I didn't even bother to run up with her because I knew she's going to score the goal. Right? And that's what she did. The keeper's coming out. She prayed around the keeper. It was it wasn't like the silkiest, but she tapped around the keeper and scored the goal. She's that type of dedicated, serious mindset.
Right.
Get it done.
It's like cold-blooded. You know it's a goal. It's cold-blooded.
So I have one more question before that. My half question. So I'm hearing the adjectives you're using. So she sounds more serious, while you sound like more of the joke stuff, the two more playful. Is that true?
That's very insightful. That's very perceptive. Because literally what my parents say is that I have more natural talent. But I would be more skylackish now. All right, okay, whatever. And now she'll be focused. She'll be at practice on time.
So you more Brazilian. You more Brazilian than
relaxed. Enjoy yourself, right? And so that's exactly it.
Right. So my last question of this round is
for now
is basically so R9 you can't be called the R9 without the finishing. Tell us a little bit about your finishing skills.
Yeah, I cannot say anything about it unless I give thanks to God.
Right.
Because we get our talent from Him, right?
Right.
Ironically enough, and literally, I tell you, it had to be with Dave. One of my favorite goals was before I got to the national team. I was playing for St. Francois. We went to play for against Digosec, and it literally was. You know how R9 in the earlys, he would place the ball
through the keeper leg.
Corner. In the corner, the keeper is coming out. He would place the corner side net in a very tight angle.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
I remember that's one of my favorite goals now, because the
did he go left? Did you go left?
Yeah, I put it last post. I was on the right. Right? And the keeper is coming out. I just kind of put it past him then, to the far left. And that was the angle was so tight I couldn't believe it. It actually scored. So, yeah, it's one of my favorite goals. And Yeah, well, other people talk about, my father talk about, like, one of my best goals was at the top of the 18-yard box when I kind of beat
Excuse
somebody
me,
to the
right?
right.
Come.
Then, yeah. Then, finish the ball, like, up by the crossbar, whatnot. The keeper couldn't do anything. And
Yeah.
so I try and go on. Remember, I have good coaches, too. It's not only about me. Good coaches, good teammates to support you.
So, I mean, so how did you, so playing for St. Francois, so how did you transition from playing for St. Francois to getting on the national team and then even playing in the US and stuff like that? So kind of talk about like how that ended up going.
All right. Well, yeah, exactly what it was is that we went to a soccer picnic with St. Francois. And that was in the East. Maybe it was on UE grounds or whatnot. And the coaches for the national team, they were there scouting players, right? And they saw us play, and they came up to my father because he was the coach at the time, and he said, "Who's that player?" Referring to my sister. I was like, "Okay, yeah, you know, Nash, I got a thing. All right, small thing, I'm not gonna take nothing. It's whatever, right?" And then afterwards, he came up to me, father. He told me, okay, they asked about me as well, and they saw other girls and whatnot that was playing, and they invited all of us to a tryout. I think it was on Wassa grounds or something like that. So we went to the national team, we went to trials or whatnot, and it was interesting seeing like the different types of players there. People from, girls from all over the country, it was just, you just really couldn't understand what exactly was happening. Like, this is the national team of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
But we did what we could do. Our dad was there to support us. We played, and naturally, since they were doing that since before we were recruited. So what they brought to us is the fact that there's an opportunity for us to get scholarships to go to the USA, because they had their contacts and whatnot, right? And so what happened was that as we were going through training, there were the World Cup qualifiers and whatnot, Junior World Cup qualifiers coming up. So we were training for that and whatnot. And the coaches from the States actually came to Trinidad, and they would come and look on at the practices. And, just kind of say, okay, can this player fit the system? Who do I want? That kind of thing. And when they officially told us, okay, we had a couple of coaches that is interested and whatnot, they let us know like what we have to do, which is, okay, you have to sit the SAT. So forget CXC and that type of thing, which helped us and whatnot, but get your backside, get yourself and study SATs.
That's okay.
You have to qualify you have to make the grade to get into the college and whatnot.
Yeah.
So we did that. We didn't get high scores, but the fact that we were going on a soccer scholarship, it helped us to still go there.
Yeah.
Okay.
One thing.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
One thing that was kind of hilarious, though, kind of scary for me as well, was that my grades from St. Francois was not good enough to get into the original college that I was supposed to go to, which is Brevard College. But Nash, she got through. Nash, she just, all right, done, right?
I'm not surprised.
But Nash, right? So she got through or whatnot, and I did not get to go to Brevard, but there was another college, Young Harris College, that said, okay, we could take her. That's a junior college. So from there, I could transfer to state or whatnot. But just on purpose, in that first year out there, because Brevard did not take me, the first time state played Brevard, Nash decided to put 4 in the tail for not taking me.
Wow.
So it was so hilarious to me, right?
That's
what you didn't take my sister, okay.
That's your sister, yeah?
Wow.
Wow.
She just started to walk on shows violent. She's alright.
We're gonna get some today.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna get some today.
But the thing about it is that that's usually how it happens, right? You're playing for secondary school, the coaches are out scouting, they'll ask you to come to tryouts, you train, they tell you what your path can be, and sometimes with those colleges out there, they say, okay, there are even professional women's teams around in the area, so even in off season for the summer, you could train with them, yada yada yada. So that's the path really, and then you could take it from there. And if you want to go to the Europe and.
So I guess when you say so like for an aspiring footballer, a girl who's in secondary school or whatever right now, so like how I guess what steps could she take to try to like increase her chances of being scouted to, I don't know, get on the national team or to get into the US or play pro in the US or whatever too?
Okay, real good question. All right, so she's in secondary school. If the school has a football team, join the football team. If there are soccer picnics happening that is even outside of the secondary school, don't be afraid, find a group of girls, go there and give yourself exposure. She can be as bold as contact the national team and saying, okay, well, I'm interested and whatnot, and see if they will invite her to come and at least train with the girls. Get yourself out there, get yourself known, and that's basically it.
Okay.
She can go that way, or she can literally put together her own. She can go it by herself. She can, as she's sweating or whatnot in Trinidad or whatnot, she can make a videotape of herself, right, and send it to colleges outside. She can just literally put through an application to whatever school she's interested in. So she can go through the national way with the national team with that help, or she can do it for herself. There are two ways. Just let nothing stand in your way. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, my apologies. I rigged up my internet connection and I received a call, so that cut everything. So I missed a big part of your development story and everything like that, right?
A man playing violin already, yes?
You see what I mean? This is why I'm not share. Anyway, so I don't know if I missed it, but what would you say is your most treasured memory as a player? Like that one achievement that like you cherish above all the others.
Cherished memory.
I
can't choose one.
You can't think of a spanner or something that hit somebody. something. I'm sure you have something. Come on.
You see, every single team or interaction I have in football, I love it because it creates camaraderie with you and the people, right? From I guess a striking perspective, there are two times, right? One time I scored 4 goals playing on Young Harris College from the wing, right? I started striking, wasn't doing so well, so it was the coach put me on the wing because it's just more straightforward. You run up the line, you could do pass with the ball or take a shot, and I ended up scoring 4 goals in that game, which is I couldn't believe I did that, so that was awesome. The other day maybe about 3 years ago, playing for Malik FC in Trinidad, I scored a hat-trick, which was like a perfect hat-trick is what the coach said.
Left, right,
left and right.
Yeah.
And that was definitely special, but I honestly don't like to I don't like to choose one and say it's all about me, because the support comes from God and then from your coaches and the players that support you. So I love one of the best things for me about football is the camaraderie and the connections you make. And when you pass that ball, this is how the team gels. I love the passing and you run and you support one another. Okay, I'll tackle that person if you know what I mean? Like the camaraderie, that is what I treasure. The goals, yeah.
Okay. So conversely to that, if there was one moment that you would do over,
Yeah, plenty of them, apparently.
You see how easy that was? You see one immediately.
Thinking
the best moment she frees and what's the best moment?
One time, it always is.
All right. And Larry could attest to this, Andre.
Let me hear this one.
There was a time we were playing in state, and I got the ball from the midfield, and I was just heading up to the keeper, one-on-one with the keeper, and I decided to chip the keeper. And because nothing else was working, I'm like, okay, let me just do this because we're trying here. Let me try and on the run just chip the keeper one time in the motion with the ball. And literally that ball passed. This is the crossbar. That ball passed right here.
Come on, that's so bad, man.
I thought
That
I
one
thought
hurt.
you
That
said-
one hurt.
I thought when Rosie or something. Come on.
That one hurt.
But only lost that game?
I think we did. We probably lose by 1 goal. I think it was like Howard or something. We were playing our rivals.
A rival.
I hear that.
Yeah.
But on a previous episode, we was talking about this too. How like people who
So
competitive people, winners and thing, they always remember
and what you won the miss.
real petty loss something, real petty thing. That's what they're holding on to, and they quick to tell you about it and things like that.
Yeah.
So
You just prove the theory is still valid.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
see how long
yeah,
this theory runs for. I could go ahead, guys.
yeah, good.
All right, Shadeeka. Like I say, nice to meet you. Even though we're talking to you in a humble manner and you're being humble and stuff, if we think about your achievements, national team player, that not many people reach that level. So you may not want to say it, so I'll say it for you. That's a high level. You did great things in football, right? So I want to. The road I want to go down is that I love football. My 2 children have football people named. My son is Ian. My daughter is named after her middle name is Carly, after Carly Lloyd.
All right.
So what I'm saying is, for some reason, there's a disconnect. Her name could have been Shadeeka or Nyasha. Why you think we don't give exposure so much? We don't have as much exposure to our national team, where we treasure the heroes of our female national team?
I love that question.
Yeah.
Because the root cause of all of the problems I think happen in Trinidad is literally people who are in charge of administering that.
Yeah.
So we're going beyond the coaches. Whomever is in the backfield in the office that is administering the program, they at their core do not believe in women's football.
Okay.
That is my assumption.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just trickling down to the players, and so we don't get enough exposure. Look, the other day I heard on the radio that for the past 3 years we are actually looking for our 9th coach for the women's team.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
Crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's just people that truly at their heart they don't believe in women's football. And if they don't believe, I mean, in my opinion, I understand you have to feed your family, but step down. Because even myself coming through on the national team, one of my dreams was for us to qualify to the World Cup.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when I realized that after I got an injury and that I didn't even get good treatment to rehab, right? When I realized that dream was over, I took it really hard. You see, the girls, we go out there and we basically be sacrificing our bodies, because we don't get paid. So we do it also we love the sport or whatnot, we're taking our time out and all that. So we need the people in the back office to take out the program seriously as well.
Yeah.
So that I think honestly that is vital. We have some players like Akila Mullen, she don't care, right? She stuck to her guns, she be on the national team, she went and she applied to Europe and maybe sent a video, used her connections from her coaches, and she went to Iceland and wherever, and so, you know what I mean? She kept going, which is good, but not everybody has that type of mindset. So if they want to do a good program, you get people who know that is what needs to be done. You be serious about it. Look at the past. Okay, there's a national team exposure from there, or help some of them put together like a video with your stats, your height, your weight, your speed, just all of the statistics that is needed, and just send it out. Send it out to the people in Europe and I guess even in all over the world, I would say, even Asia and Africa or wherever, to give us exposure.
Yeah.
And my belief, my honest and true belief is that Trinidad and Tobago could literally go toe-to-toe with Brazil and even beat Brazil. My reason for saying that is because we have similar styles of playing. Brazil, to me, is one of the best footballing nations, and I believe Trinidad could go toe-to-toe and even beat them. We like the skills. You know what I mean? So if they realize that is one of their advantages to the other teams in the world. Their ability to dribble and to be fancy with the ball and whatnot. Trinidad has a little bit of that. We have that natural talent. So we get serious about administering the program and fitness. I don't see why, honestly, we cannot get there.
It was the intensity. I think the internet connection was grieving with you too because it felt your spirit. It just was like, yeah, boy.
I mean, I get passionate about it, really.
That's why we hear every right to.
That's it.
Right?
That's why we here.
You have no need to apologize for that. You have every right to.
You could put a Trinidadian. You could put a regular. I believe you could put a regular Trinidadian outside in the States to go and sweat, and you would see the talent they have compared to the States. But why does the States get there? Because they're literally more serious about it. They put more money into it.
Yep.
You know, we have to. If we seriously want to do something, we have to get serious. And the people who have it in their heart of hearts and they believe in Trinidad football, I talk about male and female. We can't get there. You know?
We were speaking to a guy yesterday, and he was saying the same thing. Even it's not the same level of I don't want to say disrespect, but the same level of lack of resources or funding. But he said there's a deficit compared to the States for sure, in terms of funding and, as they say, seriousness.
I think even some of the other sports people, they tap into their own resources. They don't because they have to, you know. And not everybody could do that. I understand you could put out some of your own money because you know what you want to do. But at the same time, the country, take for example, Germany. How you think the Germans has gotten so good in football to this day? They literally, from I think the presidential level, said, okay, we are going to invest in a 10-year program to develop our youth players and see what result we get at the 10 years. And look at how they do it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just take a chance. So.
Yep. Andre?
I mean, you say plenty of things there that changing some of our questions. So you say it's unpaid paying for the national team.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous.
Is that the same for men and women, or that's just women national team in Trinidad?
No.
I don't know for the men, but I know for the years that we were there, it was literally
the men get paid.
Thanks to God, Shadeeka Mendez spending his money to carry us to training, buy boots, whatever we needed. You know, unpaid. I mean, I don't want to make sure not sound bad. You know what I mean?
We're just being real right now. We're just being real.
Let us speak experience. And I understand that.
So you play all levels. So what levels of national team you play? You play like under 19, what levels you play?
Yeah, it was junior, which is like under 16, and then got through the scholarship into the States for on and off about 7 to 8 years, whatever it was, and then came back and played like club team and had to train with the senior women's team, but then got a serious injury. And, that was it. Yeah.
That was devastating. So I mean, so if you didn't get that injury, do you think you would have still be like you would have been more prominently involved in football to this day?
At this stage, you would want to transition into more of an administrative role. So yes, that's a very good question. Actually, maybe yes, because I would have been trying to stay there until we bring in younger players, and they will hopefully want our experience to help them. You know.
Right. Okay. You I'm sorry, let me just ask one light question. We were talking some serious thing. I'm gonna ask a lighter question. You remember like your scoring records and things? Like how much goals you had for state, how much goals you had and things? Like,
I don't think she would.
No, I did not score a lot of goals in state.
How come I remember plenty?
As I said, this man described you as R9. How much you was scoring before then?
I remember plenty.
Yeah, I don't remember me scoring a lot of goals. I probably had one of the highest on the team, but I don't remember me scoring a lot of goals. My what state was for me was okay, I scored goals, but it gave me a lot of confidence because they looked at us as leaders, right? So there was a lot of developing the other skills as well. I had some great times, you score goals and things, but I don't think I had the highest record. But I don't even like look at that. It was just a very good all around good experience. And one of the things I did remember is me trying to cap a girl on the line. That was it, right? That was. Yeah, even Larry said, "Yeah, I could have seen us going and do that." But
my question would be really and truly, but you alluded to it. But if you had the power to just make one difference, just one, right? Just one thing. I'm assuming you'd say administrator, right? But is it that simple or that complicated?
For what? For the program to change from administrative?
No, I mean the issues that the women's team faces, because I mean the mere fact that they're expecting you all to perform for a national team essentially free because you're not being paid. None of the expenses are covered. I remember hearing of one instance where the national team had to be begging people who were using fields for pickup games to train, to get opportunity to train because improper arrangements were made. And I mean, that to me is just like an absence of baseline
respect.
Organization. Yeah, but I was trying to avoid the respect. But it speaks to a total lack of respect. And I mean, I'm sure you're not the only frustrated member of the national team. And I mean, you mentioned the injury as a factor in your playing career, but had you not been injured, what would you think your relationship with the national team would have been like?
If I didn't get injured? Probably I would have got selected for the team to try out for Gold Cup and World Cup and all of that, right? And if things had remained well, hopefully, possibly I would have been in maybe an assistant coaching position or some sort of like technical in the office, maybe looking for tournaments for us to get practice in, or teams like countries for us to fly to so we could get practice. Argentina right there, Venezuela right there, Brazil right there. I'd probably be looking at what programs we could get into to give us more exposure, increase our fitness, that type of like deep, thorough research. You know what I mean? That can help the program as well, because literally on the field is after the factor. You start from back office and then you mention like a sports psychologist as well, right? To make sure we're in the right mindset to go out and face whatever we have to face on the field and to deal with what happens in families. And
how could you be in the right mindset with minimal resources like that being provided? Especially like you're a student, but I mean, I speaking, it's difficult to stay motivated when you're feeling as if your efforts aren't even being not just appreciated, but like you're being mama guy, because you would expect a certain level of professionalism in a national team, right? It is a communal organization, and you feel as if you're going in TGI and you end up getting cricks and cheese. It's kind of like that disappointed feeling, just like, why you really come here for, right? It's like that. And I just hear some of the horror stories.
I never experienced nothing like that.
You won't understand, but when you do, you'll know. Trust me, you will know. Right? And
but let me go a little lighter again. So do you still follow like Premier League? No?
On and off.
Yeah. Do you have a team? Do you have a team? So you can study banter one time?
It used to be It used to be the team formerly known as Chelsea FC. But what outside there now, I don't know. I don't know what's outside.
Oh, you didn't have to banter the club, yes?
That's not. Wait. Could you repeat that, please?
The team formerly known as Chelsea FC. Yeah. I used to support them.
And what happened?
But what's outside there now, I don't know.
You don't know.
When did this change come about? Was it Sari?
I think I
Sari would cause that. Was it Sari? Say it was Sari, please.
Yeah,
I think I know.
From the time only players started to leave, only good players.
Drogba, Lampard, etc.
You see, after Cahill left, I know that was it there.
Okay.
That was your breaking point.
That was it there. I mean, how can you get rid of one of the thoroughbreds?
Was that Jose's second too?
I
think
after.
so.
After.
I support Jose. I like Jose.
Oh, yeah. You're in good company with some of these guys. Let me ask this question. Is that a course in South Carolina State or something? What is?
Jose is just the guy, though. He's just that guy. And I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'm not supposed to like him.
I bring up Premier League because I was hoping to see Manchester United with the glass house talking about referee just cheat them and they didn't get no penalties and
hold on.
We ain't get no penalty for 6 months.
Hold on.
I don't know if you hear all that now.
United. Oh my God.
Hold on. No. And I'm disappointed that this topic was broached at a time when I was unavailable, right?
Was that right?
I didn't really get a comment on it now because I was unavailable, right?
Was that right?
But the fact of the matter still remains, right? That is disingenuous almost. Anybody.
That's my word.
Say, okay, congratulations on your royalties. Right. Right? It's disingenuous for anybody to acknowledge the aspect and the importance that gamesmanship and mental games play in it, right? Because just after, it was always pressure. You saw it with Ferguson. Ferguson used to do that. But if he himself admitted that when he used to think on you watch, right? It was like, he was bluffing. He said that, he admitted that it was bluffing, but playing on man's mind, right? And every single top level coach does it, right? But the fact of the matter still remains is, if something is a call, if something is a penalty, if it's a foul, if it's a red card, it should be clearly enough defined that there should be no ambiguity to, there's pressure from on your refs. That's what they do. Come on. Let's be real. Right?
All right.
So
tie it together from there.
You know what I'm saying, right? We could say what? Because I don't not going to fool myself and say, yeah, boy, that was a stonewall penalty when it wasn't, right? I'm not doing that. I will say, yes, it was justifiable. No, it wasn't, right? The fact is, if there's consistency and it deserves to be given, you cannot fault a team if, based on their application of pressure, that they earn more penalties.
Wow.
Okay.
That's what I said, right?
I hear some things here that, all right.
Wow.
That's what I said, right? Because for them to get the penalties, they have to reach the box with the ball and make a defender quick enough to make the wrong decision, right? It's not to say you're going and you're playing for contact and drag foot and all right. Pressure is pressure. That is what happens. So it's gamesmanship on all sides, eh? You see,
you're still
no penalties.
But you're still really tied together from there because what I wanted to say, was that Ole act rather Jose-ish on the weekend with his post match,
just like
us against the world,
and that is important because why?
The man bantering a man that get fired already, you know. He's still talking about Frank Lampard, you know.
Yeah,
He's still talking about what Lampard had to do and Lampard pressure
Yeah.
the freeze and thing.
Yeah, you know why? You know why? You know why it had to be done? Because again, it's just like a gamesmanship is gamesmanship. It's not wrong to do,
Wow.
and people will do it. But this is what I'm saying. When I was
I'm glad-
at in church,
I'm
right?
glad this mental gymnastics on tape, so I could see. I could play this back. I could play this back, and we could go through this again.
I remember Ole Messiah, right?
Oh, so is that boy?
Talking about Manchester United does get real penalties. Rashford come out and say, say sat him down.
Yes.
And say, hey, you don't earn more penalties, right?
Yes.
The same thing. It's just the same as you. Just on one side, your position change on the other side. And it's gamesmanship. And that's the reality. So to say anything else is disingenuous and hypocritical. That's my point.
All right, Man United. Shadeeka, who's so since you don't support Chelsea anymore, any favorite players out there that you must watch your game?
I like Timo Werner right now.
Oh, good.
Actually, I wish he was on Real Madrid, right? The other thing Chelsea doing him what he needs right now.
Okay.
Yeah. But
so you want him to be free.
I want him to be at his highest potential.
Yeah, all right.
The man looking like Shevchenko when he was in Chelsea.
Now you're talking players, but that's okay, right?
No, but he's looking like how Shevchenko. He looking like the Shevchenko that showed up at Chelsea, not DC Milan Shevchenko.
Not DC Milan. Yeah.
So a little worried for Timo. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm worried for him because I don't think if Tuchel can't get the best out of him by the end of the season,
I think
Chelsea going to try to pass him on already.
Yeah. So who knows? That's the problem.
I don't know.
So
that's the thing.
So I'm guessing, Shadeeka, you sound like a Hazard fan.
Oh no, actually no, I don't like.
No. Serious.
He is skillful and stuff. There's something about his attitude I couldn't get over.
He little miserable. Yeah. He could turn you off.
Yeah.
Okay. So is it a Drogba, Lampard? Who's your favorite Chelsea player of all time?
I love me some.
I was wondering, should I say?
Who?
Lampard.
I missed that.
Lampard.
Okay.
So how did you take his sacking?
I wasn't surprised with me because from the beginning, I know he wasn't going to do what Chelsea needed. He was a good little transition coach, but somehow I didn't see him as that coach to take Chelsea to be champions again.
Legendary Frankie.
Yeah.
There's a
disconnect.
The player, not Frank the coach. There's a difference.
Correct is right. He could be like an individual mentor of like midfielders, like say Barkley. I don't know if Barkley's still there or not. He could be like a mentor to him, right? But somehow him transitioning or him just kind of transferring his knowledge of the game towards the Chelsea players, it just wasn't working. They were.
Yeah, so he should be like So I think Aston Villa have John Terry as like a second coach or something. So in the back staff, ting. Wait, don't talk about you like John Terry?
You must like John Terry.
I'm hoping that Jose will go back there with John Terry.
Never gonna happen.
Nah.
I can't
Who's
see.
it done?
I can't see. According to Andrew, he might be done in football entirely. According to Andrew,
he is done in the. He ain't getting no top tier job no more. Ooh. After Tottenham, he gonna be in the second round. So whatever's like the next level below that. What's that, boy? What's the level below Tottenham?
Nah.
Newcastle and thing.
He go last on Newcastle.
Newcastle and thing. He had to change country again.
He had to change
country again.
Wow.
Nah, he
Joe Public
in trouble.
But speaking of Joe Public, sorry, Shadeeka.
So you could get me.
I can call her,
Apologies.
We'll give you a date. They could call her.
So growing up, is it safe to ask your favorite female player of all time? Who did you look to?
Okay. Favorite female growing up was Birgit Prince from Germany.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah.
Right?
She was good.
Mm-hmm.
Tall, sturdy, got the job done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But now, Marta.
Yeah, well, I was wondering when I called Marta name now.
Of course.
It's just, yeah.
I was wondering
Skills, speed, yeah.
Longevity.
Yeah.
Watch me, Marta still playing?
Marta still playing. I watching She Believes Cup on TV.
Still turning up people.
Marta still playing.
Still turning up people.
Oh, Marta had to be like 38 now, dog.
That don't matter.
We're
And
going
then they keep training.
And that's the thing.
And
that's the thing. Marta probably started playing when she was 16 for the national team.
Yeah.
So
But I enjoy the female game. Growing up, it have a affinity for women who can play the game. Growing up, you know about the Akila Malone, the Mary Akin Johnson, the Martas, the Hope Solos, the women like that. So I enjoy the female game. Like I said, I hope one day to make my daughter play and things like that. So I really hope somewhere we can get women's football in Trinidad and Tobago resourced in some way. Yeah, go ahead.
Question. As Osei mentioned, he hoped to get his daughter to that level, right? What advice would you have for parents to get their daughters to achieve their full potential? Because you mentioned the close-knit relationship between your interactions with the game and your dad as a coach, right? But everybody's parent cannot be the coach to really provide that mentorship. So what do you think the average parent of any daughter, any girl, any especially in our local context, would be best they need to do to ensure that their daughter achieves their full potential in football?
First and foremost, you pray about it. Because that's where I come from now.
Yeah.
I know you probably haven't heard that a lot on your podcast. But you pray about it.
I hear nothing wrong yet.
No, we have Exeter.
And if you get that go ahead from the Divine Master, you set your mind that you're going to get it done. You are going to give your daughter all of the chances, all of the opportunities that are out there for her to reach where she wants to reach. Right? She probably would know more about the internet and about technology.
Yeah.
Right? So, first thing before you even get to there, better playing in the neighborhood.
Right.
All right, you can accompany her playing in the neighborhood or whatnot. She goes to secondary school, better to join that team there. If there's the woman club team, well, semi-professional team, whatever it is in Trinidad, better on a team there. Hire a videographer, okay, to just videotape her doing skills to as a matter of fact, they can even reach out to the national team, right? And I would recommend at this point Akila Malone, because she did it. She is the one I believe that has gone through this, right? And just kind of sit down with her and see what she has to say, because in my mind, you reach the national team and they could put you in contact with coaches outside and whatnot. But I think if you give her that mentor, somebody that's actually done it, Akila Malone, she will definitely be able to help her. So the avenues is all of what I just said there. Get a tape showing her speed, her agility, her skills.
Boy, you're giving her real talent, boy. I like that.
No, because that's what they do. That's literally what players do to go Europe and stuff. They put together something, they send it to the clubs out there. And if you're in contact with the national team, see if she can go travel with the national team, get exposure, do the SAT so she's prepared to go to the States if that comes through, right? And literally is as simple as just applying. It's as simple as just making a phone call to that women's club team in Europe, that women's club team in USA. Hi, good. Hi, how are you doing? I'd like to have my daughter come and try out. You'll accept internationals, foreign players. When is trials? Okay, trials is next year, September. So you start putting aside your money. You know what I mean? To save so you can go there and you literally fly up to Europe or the States or whatnot for that time period, and you send her to tryouts. You know, it's as simple as just saying, okay, we're going to do that, and just do it. There's no flack. There's no, oh, we can't do that, or what if? There's only one person do that before. Just get it done.
Think it, do it. Think it, do it.
I like that. I appreciate that.
Think it, do it.
And you see the names, so you just call them Mealy. So, you call Mealy, you call her Killer Malone. If she wish, I mean, I don't mind helping her, right? Whoever it is, it could be myself, it could be Nyasha. We have so many national team players that I played with, they're actually living out there in the States. Arian, Jason, Kezian, Francis, all these players that played with me, they out there. So, if she wants to reach out to whomever to get that experience, just do it. I think it's anyway. Well, that's what we go to colleges, right? Andrew, we just apply. Jeez.
Yeah. At some point, that's what it is.
Hopefully, she can reach out. I mean, she's one now, but I mean, I think.
But generally, you say it takes a while to get something done. So I want you to get out there. He knows what he needs to do.
I know what to do.
Yeah. He knows what to do. He has maybe about 15 years to get done. Should be enough time for him. Another question I wanted to ask though. Here's this question though. Do you think it would be more beneficial for women's football overall if at least up to under 10 or at least primary school level that there are mixed teams where boys and girls train together concurrently?
That's an interesting question.
If it'll improve our game, like girls' game,
because I'm thinking one of the challenges is getting them enough opportunities to play and to develop. And I mean, some people I know in England, for example, I think they allow girls 2 years older than the age group to play with the boys sometimes. And there's a bit of debate as to if it's really good for their development or not. I don't know if you have any thoughts on it or your opinion on it, just hearing about it from the first time.
For me, I don't care. It could be an animal. I never played with the animal. I don't care, right?
The sweat, correct.
It's just that we know men, you all are stronger, more rugged, more sturdy. So it's just for the boys to know, okay, don't go in as hard. Like you apply pressure and you play to the highest of your ability, but don't injure. You know, there's a difference between like if you're defending, you can defend properly without injuring. So that's all it is. You go there, you play your best skill, you beat, you do whatever the guys, do whatever you had to do, but just don't injure. And it's fine.
Shadeeka, that's all well and good until somebody get breed. And then all bets are off.
Yeah. Because they're going to kill him with talk, They'll kill him with talk.
For sure.
And he coming back hard now. and then they'll be like,
well, I can tell you this. Let me tell Andrew this though. Actually, it's so coincidence. I was talking to mommy about this the other day. How Gavin would play.
Right? Wait, what's going on here?
Let me hear this one.
I literally remember we were sweating, right? And he had the ball. And kill me then. I come in to get the ball from him, and he just do a big stiff hand. And I couldn't move. You know what I mean? Like he was so strong. And like, where you going? And he, he continued to go to the midfield. But that type of strength, that type of challenge would help me get better.
Right. So, I actually I have a vague memory of, I think, with a girl playing, and he skate tackle the girl. I can't remember who though. I'll try to remember who it is because he had this way about him where right when he get vexed and sweat, he vexed. He showed everybody vexed something, right? So I'm trying to remember who it was though. It was dog. Why?
I can't remember. It wasn't me, right? I can't remember.
It was not 2 foot scissors when you trying to kill somebody, but I remember him skating. I was just like, what? Man, really skate there, man. Nah, I can't remember. So I was gonna ask another light question we asked people and things. So like obviously I know R9. R9 was your favorite player. Still a favorite player of all time? Still the GOAT?
No, I am. I kind of grow out of that.
You grow out of that? So who's the GOAT of all time? Who's the GOAT?
She hiding behind the internet connection now. Yes, you notice that? She mentioned the words and blaming the internet connection.
By the grace of God, now you know we all get talent from God. God is my greatest player of all time. God.
Okay.
Right?
You send your from Miss Universe.
Okay.
You send your from Miss Universe. That's how wonderful diplomatic answer. Nobody going to kill you. Who do you think God
I mean,
as the greatest player of all time?
Honestly, I grow to like what I bring. I grow to like what I bring to the game. I have grown to consider myself my greatest player of all time, because that was that's the only way you could possibly I think that's the way you would really and truly get the best out of yourself in the game, because you believe in yourself and you doing you. And everybody needs to be themselves to do their best.
Well, I really vex. I'm
not trying to be philosophical.
I really vex. I see you play.
She claimed. I don't know. I think
you must have videos though.
I think your signal went down or something.
It must have videos. It must have videos.
Shadeeka claiming she ain't scored too much goals at state and thing.
It must have videos. It must have videos. I don't remember that. This is not somebody from the 1980s we talking to. This is one of our contemporaries.
Footage real hard to get.
Footage.
I remember.
It must have footage.
I remember at least witnessing one hat trick and then a double. At least.
It must have footage. It must have footage.
I remember.
Google.
I remember Blue Boots. I remember Blue Boots. I remember people getting fans. I remember people getting belts. I remember it's all kind of
Andre, that's your move.
And watch me. And I'm gonna tell you something. And watch me. And plus, because of how state was,
of course,
it's only the Trini content.
Trini and loud is echoing in the stadium.
So every time she do something, whoa!
Yeah.
Okay, it's just It's like
it must have it. I don't believe it doesn't have it. Must have.
But there was a young man that used to sweat in the stage, right? He used to be quiet, but he has grown up to be a very tall, deep voice, erudite, mature young man, right? Who supports Hernan Crespo.
All this mama guy.
And I distinctly remember Mommy was sweating. Right? And I remember a particular goal you scored. The ball came in from the right hand side. And you ran in. I don't know if it's Kevin and gave you that ball. And do like a side foot volley. I was like, okay. And then, it went to deep goal.
All right.
I appreciate that, Ronaldo. I appreciate that.
And of course, you start to get on now, you said it.
Hey, well, you gotta do all kind of things. Gotta do all kind of things. Yeah.
Oh,
that's good times, for sure.
One more question. This is a bold-face ask. Now, am I pronouncing the name correct? Shadeeka?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So, like this
podcast. No name getting wrong.
This podcast is to educate Trinidad and Tobago on their past and present football stars / heroes. We want to shine a spotlight on players that may have been overlooked or we don't have much history about. If you try to do a deep dive on Trinidad football history, you just get Latapi and Dwight York basically. You might get Stern John, Shaka Hislop. But we want to go as far as finding all the gems that are hidden. The female R9, according to Andre,
If I find footage, all in trouble.
It was a pleasure.
I wanted to find footage.
But the boldface ask is, if you enjoyed this interview, this experience, can you plug us with another gem that we could shine a spotlight on? In terms of getting an interview.
Please note, I will say you making a song. This is not like a pyramid scheme. Don't take on how you put it across, right? This is not a pyramid scheme.
I don't mind it being. This is the type of pyramid scheme that's actually good. We investing in. This is the only type that's good actually.
If you realize, I mean, yes, we maintain, but the fact is, when Trinidadians, I keep saying this, on paper there are 2 million of us, right? Because let's say 1.7 here and how much of our abroad, right? But whenever we connect, the vibe does be so different. I'm sure you could attest to that, right? Yeah. And I mean, this convivial bond that we share, especially over a game we love, is something that we want to make go on as long as it possibly can. So I believe what Ose is asking for is to help us sustain that spirit, sustain that joy.
This sounds to feel real. This sounds to feel like a pyramid scheme, though. I feel like something going on. What's the
football pyramid?
No.
The 2, 3, 4, 5. What I call it? The football pyramid was inverted.
But realistically speaking, right? I mean, it was a pleasure having you, and I will admit that I was very, very excited because the fact is, I mean, the women's game has been underappreciated for the longest while. In my view, disrespected. So it was a pleasure, and nobody could take this from you. You've been our first female guest. Nobody could ever take that from you, right?
Amen. Yeah.
What I would like from you is to sustain us with guests.
So let me actually ask a question. So based on that, so like, is there a player you played against that you know? That is like a player that people really don't know a lot about. Maybe not a lot of people know a lot about, but maybe people who, maybe she was very good in college or good on the national team, whatever, that some people have seen and like me, like the impression you left on me is that people who saw this player and left the impression on them and things like that you could actually say, that's a good person to talk to and stuff like that as well.
Really? And afterwards. Well, good.
How about a few people?
Well, let me say this, just to answer your questions, gentlemen. Right? When Andre reached out to me and asked, I was delighted. Right? And I told him, I have no problem sharing this. Whenever, you know what I mean? Like on Facebook, ever. Right?
Sure.
And there are definitely a few players that I would love to link you all up with.
And we did.
And actually, 2 of them, I would probably try to get Akila Mullen. Right?
Wow, nice.
Yeah, that's one. And then there is Anastasia Prescott. Right? She's a defender. There are actually 2 or 3 players that I think I could try to get you all to speak to. I think, and if you heard about Mariah Shade, I could probably try to reach out to her to see if she wants to, if she could.
Central defender, right? Or back or something. She was a striker. Well, wow.
No, Mariah Shade was a striker. Yeah. But I don't know if this question was asked when I stepped out it, right? Because, as I said, Matters are stable. Who would you say is the best player that you ever played against?
Ooh. Good question.
Yeah. Best player that you ever played against.
Question you can't like you from Sky Sports or something.
When you have an intelligent guest, you use intelligence.
He's the Roy Keane of the podcast. Yes.
Yeah.
Played against. No, you see that it had to be a defender because if I strike, it had to be a defender, right?
Yeah.
And sadly, I can't remember her name because it's again from our rivals, Andre Howard. That's the game, right? tall defender. She had razor one, and I couldn't get around this girl for nothing. I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Was it that she was quick, physical, could read the game?
It. She was tall. She was like a lamppost too. She was tall and she was physical, and I couldn't hit the ball because she just reaching, and it wasn't happening. Yeah. So there's her. But I mean, look, honestly, even our local players that are now older now, right? We have some good defenders. They try to beat them.
I was hoping to hear some names.
So
I was hoping to hear some names locally. Ones that you had a little thinking.
Isla Brown. She older now, Isla Brown. She used to be in national team back in the day. Isla Brown.
I remember that. Isla Brown, I remember that.
Yeah? Even Ricardo Nelson. She was a midfielder. She had a hard foot. Hard foot shooting. It scared me. The first time in the national team, and I saw that, I got scared. I was like, we have to go and play against them, like, you know. So those are two.
Nice.
Other really talented people. You probably heard about them. Tasha St. Louis.
Yeah,
like, to me, she is one of the best at pass through women's football. And
she definitely was. She definitely was. Tasha St. Louis was.
And Shadeeka, the sad part is many people don't know about her, don't know her story. And somehow, hopefully, we could help players like this get their story out, shine a spotlight on it at least. That's our aim.
The hope is to provoke a movement that will prevent these stories from continuing to the future. Because, I mean,
but we were talking something like that.
You need to learn from your mistakes. These kind of things can't just be happening. You can't keep doing the same things over and over. We're not learning. Come on, man. You want to tell me you don't know what shots you have World Cup qualifiers coming up? Who you gonna have, boy? Am I available? What are you doing? You know? Why is it so reactionary?
You see that word you just say there? Yeah. Reactionary, not proactive. I bet you from now, 4 years ago, America don't plan who they're going to do. You understand who they're going to hire this kind of
facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to me, I don't know. It has to be something harder than I think it is, because it cannot be so simple and not being done.
I know, we just need to get together from the top, from the fish rods from the head down, right? So from the top, right? It doesn't have to be from Rowdy, it could be a little bit lower than that, whoever's in charge of that from the beginning. They just have to be serious about it, and they just have to delegate. That mentality filter down, and then use your resources. There are many of us, there are many women in Trinidad to be part of the national team who needs a good national team. But in club teams around that are highly skilled, highly educated, and of the game, I would love to help.
Right.
I could call another name, Ashley Alonso. She thinks she tried out for the national team, but she more played in club teams like the Queen's Park cricket club and whatnot. But she has a master's in like sports rehabilitation, and she tries something in the national team. Like she has both feet. She could train you to do this and the other. We have the talent out there.
You have the talent. All right. So just let me wrap up quick. Shadeeka, we are thankful for having you on. Thankful for taking the time.
It was a pleasure having you.
Wrap up. Any words before we go?
I literally just want to thank God, and I want to thank you all for who you all are.
Appreciate that.
And keep doing what you
believe in. Thank God for that too.
Yeah. And
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for coming through, Shadeeka.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for the memories. Thanks for the even if you don't remember.
You just swell up Andre's head for.
Yeah. Watch me. You hear them say he feel. Watch me.
Next episode,
he must start to grow. He must start to grow, you know, right? He started to grow there.
Next episode, I'm gonna be talking about what Ronaldo.
All this old talk and prime up talk and all kind of thing. I want to see video. Right? That's what I want to see. I want to see video.
I don't know if I have
Shadeeka, you must have video. Don't tell me you don't have video. You want to tell me
you have from Young Harris. I have a little song, but it's on VHS. That's a
small thing. Wait on. stream it on your phone and we watch it. We taking that.
Oh my.
We taking that.
Well, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you again. Have a good night.
Have a great night.
Be in touch.
Later.
Bye.